So new reports are coming out that deep in development of X-Men and Fantastic Four and Deadpool into the MCU, Marvel Studios is struggling with Deadpool. Right, it's an interesting one because I think I understand why they would struggle with it if these reports are true, which they probably are.
Yeah, we've definitely discussed it, so let's talk a little bit more about it.
So, bringing Deadpool in, that's a headache.
Yes.
That is a headache.
We have talked about it so many different times, and just the way that Deadpool is right now, it's impossible.
It really would be impossible. And I don't think it's just even that. I think it's the fact that if we look at the X-Men, for example, scrapping the X-Men after just having 2 bombs in a row of the main X-Men franchise and New Mutants apparently being really terrible and Disney doesn't want it even out, that's 3 bombs in a row. Logan was your last good one, and that wasn't even an X-Men movie.
Yeah.
So scrubbing X-Men out of people's minds, they've already scrubbed it out themselves.
Yeah,
Fantastic Four.
Yeah, they scrubbed that out.
Again, okay, Deadpool. He's had 2 films that are big, still resonating with people a lot, and have a fan base that hasn't been turned away yet. Even though if I didn't like Deadpool 2 as much as I liked the first one, I still want more.
Yeah.
So they didn't completely turn me away. You know, they didn't ruin everything. I just didn't like the second movie as much as the first one. So I think that is a problem. And I'm willing to believe these reports because how do they move forward with it? Because if you want him in the MCU, it can't be the same character.
Nope. You can't break the 4th wall because then you destroy the entirety of the MCU that you've had almost 12 years of everything in development, creating these moments that we have right now. And you can't even sit there and say, well, the Snap sat there and made it so that it's like, no.
They need to get, if anybody, I'm going to be kind with you people. If your excuse for anything is the Snap did it, that's the laziest writing and it can't be done. Because that's too lazy. They're not going to take that because it's too lazy to take that approach. And that's a problem. He does have time travel device because he undoes Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
So you'd never have to watch that movie if you don't, because that's part of the joke of it. But to me, I could see why they would be struggling with this, and specifically Kevin Feige, because it's not a standard comic book movie, which leads into why it was so successful, because it's not a standard comic book movie. And Guardians wasn't a standard comic book movie, but Deadpool is out of... It's not even a normal film. I can't describe how different Deadpool is opposed to everything else that exists out there.
It's almost like Dora the Explorer.
Yeah.
It sounds really weird that I'm saying this, and here, let me explain why. Dora the Explorer, the cartoon. It's a 4th wall breaking thing that stops and stares at you and going,
yeah.
Did you respond?
The actual movie does it.
Yeah. So,
and it's a little weird, and they have a way of doing it. But again, Deadpool's not talking to a GoPro. It's awkward, and maybe they could do it that way, but I think the trouble is going to be also finding that balance for Deadpool, because you can't have him too out there, and you can't have him too tame because then it's not the same character. I think the Deadpool they built in the 2 movies is radically out of the realm of possibility to exist as that same character, and that's really weird.
And another thing they could be struggling a little bit with too is Deadpool 2 was Ryan Reynolds for the most part, wanting a lot of control and everything of the movie, and that's not how Kevin Feige is going to want it, because if you want control over your film, you need to earn the control by showing that you can listen to what we want as a vision.
I mean, you look at just Edgar Wright for Ant-Man. He worked on it. He's the reason we didn't get Wasp and Ant-Man in the original Avengers. He's the reason Ant-Man took so long. Ant-Man was supposed to be part of Phase 1, but Edgar Wright was not willing to play. And it came to the point where they're 7 years into development with Wright, and they're he just doesn't want to listen. So you need somebody that can listen, and Deadpool 2 was proof that Ryan Reynolds has a style that maybe clashes with the director, because even David Leitch, the director, was I didn't get full voice and my own control of it. And if you look at John Wick, that's Leitch at his prime, so they didn't let him do that. Deadpool 2, there's no reason that movie doesn't have the greatest action sequence of all time, but it doesn't. And it's that's kind of weird, and a lot of Deadpool 2 was played up as something big's gonna happen, and then they undermine it with a joke that's a repeat of the first film's joke. Oh, the tiny little thing. Oh, the tiny legs, the tiny... Like, it felt like a lot of the same thing, just trying to recapture the same magic, and I don't think they're gonna try to do that with the third one, because...
No.
You can't tell the same joke for a third time and have it hit the same, like... Mark in a punchline. Like, it just won't work. So, I can see why they would be struggling with this. My hope is Deadpool 3. Just say, call it Deadpool 3, the reboot.
Yeah.
And just take everything that's good, all the actors, Deadpool, and just put them in the MCU and have them make a passing joke during the intro where it's literally somebody writing a new script to be like, we're not going to do the old one. Because the first movie opens up with them making fun of everybody that's made the movie.
Yeah.
I think you could do that again. And, like, I think Deadpool 1 even has a Kevin Feige Easter egg. It's Kevin's Pizza. And that was supposed to be Kevin Feige Easter egg. So you can work that in there. And I think it would honestly, that would, to me, be funnier. I think that's the way to have to go. Like, reboot and just explain the old universe as...
as a bad script.
Yeah, just be like,
but not like a bad script.
Right,
like
as a bad script.
This is a bad script.
Yep.
No. We need to be a little more serious.
That universe still holds over to the old X-Men films because they cameo. Yeah. So, again, do you want...
No.
Exactly.
I don't even want you to finish.
I don't even want to finish that because it's such a no. Finish. So that is a thing. Like, that's... Yeah, no. Yeah, no, it's got to be a reboot.
A reboot.
Everything the same, just a reboot.
The only thing different is you have to tame down the fourth wall.
Yep.
Or have none of it at all. You can have them wisecrack jokes perfectly without breaking the fourth wall. Mm-hmm. And that is...
I think that's the only part, really.
Yeah,
I think that is the only part. Like the fourth wall. Everything else I think could work.
Yeah.
So...
The jokes. Yeah. You have to bring back Stefan. You gotta bring back my boy.
Yeah. Bring back Colossus. He's great.
Bring back Colossus.
Bring him back.